So I have finished my first book of 2025, and I'm here to tell you about it. Gunmetal Gods by Zamil Akhtar is a very dark epic fantasy with elements of Lovecraftian horror. It follows two warring nations fighting over what is a holy city to both of them, and drawing heavily from Middle Eastern and European cultures as well as the Crusades. This is a dark epic fantasy in every way. In terms of content warnings, if any of this bothers you, I'd stay away. This book is graphic and brutal, and it does not pull punches, even if maybe it should at times. Gunmetal Gods follows two main POVs, Keva and Micah, on opposite sides of the war. And this is where the first of my criticisms comes in. I'm not a fan of first-person POV in general, and switching back and forth between two of them took me a lot of getting used to for me. Second criticism for me is in regards to the writing. It is technically fine, but it is very bare bones and lacking in description. It can be hard to get a good mental picture of what's happening and the vistas and where you are, because there's just not much space given to that in the book. It is very, very heavy on dialogue, and that dialogue can feel stilted at times, and not how real people talk. In some ways, it feels almost scriptural, like you're reading a holy text, but I don't think that was intentional. The pacing in the first half is also a major problem. The book doesn't give much time to breathe before throwing you into these events that are clearly massive and important to the story, but you don't care because there's not been enough time with these characters and places to grow attached to them or understand what it means. The back half of the book is much better in my eyes, and it made me interested in the sequel, which I did not expect in the first half. The world building and plot here are both excellent, though. All the various nations and regions and religions are all fully realized with their own histories and mythologies that all matter. Speaking of mythologies, the titular gods of this book are horrifying. Think biblically accurate angels, and that'll give you a pretty good idea of what they are. They are immense in scope and power, and they love to meddle in the affairs of their humans. In terms of scoring, this one's a little bit hard for me because the first half was so much worse than the second half to me, but it is ultimately all one package, right? So I'm going to score this book 3.5 stars out of 5 because of the criticisms I've already mentioned. However, I would still say this book is worth picking up. It is a ride, man. It is all over the place. It moves at a breakneck pace, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But it is a ride, and it is entertaining at times, especially if you're not coming into this for the characters and you're wanting to just get a really good plot. Go ahead and read it. It's a fun one for that. Check your trigger warnings first, but other than that, go ahead and read it, man. It's a wild ride, and I am interested in the sequel. I've heard the sequel is better than the first one, but I do think this is a complete story that can be told on its own as well. If you like this review, please share it, tag your friends in the comments, and comment what I should review next. Thanks.